everybody, it's me, Michaela. I'm back, and today I'm going to do a bookshelf unhaul, or also show you the books that I recently unhauled from my shelves. My bookshelf has around 94 books. That's the usual amount that I have. I like to donate my books a lot because I have a rule where I can't buy more books until I donate. So I have a lot of books here that I would like to donate, but my local library where I usually do that is closed. I just have a huge bag of all these books that I don't want anymore. I thought I might as well just show them to you. All of the books that I'm showing you will be on my Depop, so if you want my copy, you can just buy it from me. So I've divided everything into a few sections. I have 6 stacks of books. The first section of books that I would like to get rid of are books I got for school or informational books like that I wouldn't normally pick up if I didn't have to for school. So this is Our Church by Michael Penkoff. I just had to get this for a religion class. I don't need it anymore, so goodbye. Sanctuary by Terry Hershey. Once again, religion class, don't need it. Tattoos on the Heart by Gregory Boyle. This was actually from one of my teachers. It has an inscription in the front. It's about the priest that created the Homeboy charity or volunteer organization. I don't really know anything about it, but I know that's a very popular organization that, I don't know, people would like to learn more about. So if you want this, if you're interested in that charity or know more about it than I do, you can have it. The Her Campus Guide to College Life by Stephanie Kaplan Lewis, Annie Chandler Wang, Windsor Hanger Western, and the writers and editors of Her Campus. This my uncle got for me before I went to college. It's sort of like a informational book, building a balanced social life. So I read it. It was pretty interesting, but I don't think I need to read it anymore. And also, it's a website that created a book, so you can just look up Her Campus online and you'll have all the same information, but you don't need to own the physical copy. 13 by Shanley, that's the title, and the author is John Patrick Shanley. It's just 13 plays by the same playwright. I read a few of them, but they weren't really my taste, and they weren't really interesting enough for me to rave about this book. I have The Crystal Guide, which is just a book I bought in a museum, I'm pretty sure, and it just has a bunch of crystals, and I thought it was cool. See, there's like pages of crystals inside, but I don't need it. Somebody else who likes crystals can have it. The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. This is a book about the 5 love languages. Maybe you've heard of them. There's a quiz inside on how to decipher your love language, things people with that love language would like, what to do if your partner has an opposite love language. My friend gave this to me. I was really into the love languages for a while, but I'm not anymore. The Chicago River, A Natural and Unnatural History by Libby Hill. This was for an environmental science / geography class about the Chicago River that I took. There's some photos and maps. It's mostly like a research book. The next section is books I own but I never ended up reading. Freak the Mighty by Rodman Philbrick. I started reading this when I was a kid. It's really small. It's Scholastic, and I just couldn't get into it, and then I just never got into it. I've had this book for like 7 years. Push by Sapphire. This is an adult book, I'm pretty sure, even though the main character is a teenager. I bought it thinking it would be a teenager book or a young adult book, and it was just really heavy and really sad. And I don't like reading sad books. Things Not Seen by Andrew Clements. Another popular children's book that I just never got around to. The Higher Power of Lucky by Susan Patron. I know that I have read this, but it was years ago. I can't remember the story at all, and now it doesn't really pique my interest. I know that the girl's name is Lucky. The Watsons Go to Birmingham by Christopher Paul Curtis. I've read 2 Christopher Paul Curtis books, and I liked them, and I like his style of writing. He's really good. He always has a bunch of awards. But this one I started, and it didn't really speak to me. I'm on the fence if I want to give this away or keep this. I might keep this. Mission Unpopular by Anna Humphrey. Just your average, I think it's a middle grade book about some middle schoolers. It doesn't really speak to me. I've had this for years and I haven't read it. My Life with the Walter Boys by Ali Novak. This is actually a Wattpad book that was turned into a physical book. And I remember I started reading this, but then I saw that it was on Wattpad, so I just read the Wattpad book, and I didn't need to read the physical book. So I have read this. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. At one time, this piqued my interest, but now it doesn't. And that's it. Running Out of Time by Margaret Peterson Haddix. I read another book by her, the author, and it was okay, and so I didn't really feel like I wanted to pick this up. And the other book by her I already unhauled. Meet Cute. This is an anthology with stories by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Daniel Clayton, Katie Contingo, Jocelyn Davies, Huntley Fitzpatrick, Nina LaCour, Emery Lord, Catherine McGee, Cass Morgan, Julie Murphy, Meredith Russo, Sarah Shepard, Nicola Yoon, and Ibi Zaboy. So this is an anthology. I've never read an anthology besides for school, and the school ones I didn't like, but I don't know if that's just because it's for school. But since this is also a romance anthology, and I'm not really a romance fan, this just isn't going to work out for me. So someone else can have it. It's brand new. Never read. Tables by John Lucas. I got this at a garage sale, I'm pretty sure. It's an adult, romance, something to do with a restaurant. Never read it. This giant bind-up, The Greatest Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It's 44 short stories and 4 complete novels. And I bought this because I was really into the show Sherlock, and I would love to read more of the stories. But when I bought this, the text is just so tiny. It's tiny. Do you see that? So I was reading, and it was just so small that I had to stop. So yeah, if anybody else doesn't mind that it's so tiny, you have 4 books and 44 short stories in here. The next section is books that I have read, but I didn't like and don't want to reread. 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. You probably have all heard of this. It was really popular in BookTube, and there's that show. I just really I didn't dislike the story, I disliked what it stood for. The whole 13 reasons, these people are the 13 reasons why I'm dead. I don't know. That just wasn't really for me. I would watch the show. I haven't seen it yet, but people say the show is better, and I think the story is fine. So I don't need this anymore. If you want a copy, you can have it. This is 12 Ophelias, a play with broken songs by Carded Fitch. I had to get this for one of my playwriting classes. It's a Hamlet retelling from Ophelia's perspective, but also in a weird, purgatory hell setting. It was okay. I've never read Hamlet, but I don't think that would have helped because it's just so bizarre. It's one of those interpretive plays, you know what I'm saying? The End of the Effing World by Charles Forsman. This is a graphic novel. If you've ever heard of the show, The End of the Effing World on Netflix, it's the same. This is the adaptation that they made. I really love that show. The comic book is the same story. It's really good. I just don't need to keep it. I think that the show followed the book. The show followed the book pretty well, and I can just watch the show. Flashcards of My Life by Charisse Miracle Harper. I remember that I was in a reading slump when I was in 5th grade, and this book pulled me out of it. The chapters are super short. It looks like this. Kind of reminds me of Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon, how there's pages that are just design and not full text blocks. It makes the reading go by way faster. It's really aimed at a lower middle grade audience, 10, 11-year-old girls. There's nothing really substantial, timeless or long-lasting that would make you need to read this over again. What If It's Us by Becky Albertelli and Adam Silvera. I liked this book. I said that I don't usually read romances, but when I do, they're gay. Yeah, or just, any part of the LGBTQ spectrum. I liked this. It was okay. The sequel's coming out. I will read it, but just from the library. I don't think that I need to own it. Unhooking the Moon by Gregory Hughes. This is about a brother and sister, and their father dies, and they're orphans. And also they're of indigenous Canadian heritage. But if you look up the author, he's not an indigenous like native person, so it's not Own Voices. And I don't know, just not reading an Own Voices book about like a person of color story is just not something that I want to do. So I stopped reading. Lastly, Luv Ya Bunches by Lauren Miracle. This is another middle grade story that I read when I was like 10. I liked it. There's a sequel or two or three, but I never got around to it, and I don't think I will read it now. I grew out of the age group that this group is aimed towards. Next is series. So I have The Giver quartet. So here is The Giver. It's in these really nice editions. Yeah, but I love the story of The Giver. I read reviews about the other three and people say it's not as good, so I don't need these. And also, The Giver is a super, super popular book. I can just get it from the library if I want to read it again. And also, it comes with a map. Next, I have the Babysitter's Club, graphic novels, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've read 1, 2, and 3, and I never got to 4 because it didn't really interest me. I think the Babysitter's Club was a niche, like in the beginning, I think late 80s, early 90s, and I'm just not in that group. I don't need to own these. It doesn't stick to me that much. The whole Magisterium series, books 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I've read 1, and I didn't really enjoy it, so I didn't want to read the rest of them, which sucks because I already asked for these for Christmas. I just really wish that I didn't because then they wasted their money. Lastly, I have a bunch of comics. First, I have just a Robin comic from Robin. I don't know how to tell who was by because I don't even read comics, but yeah, I got this at some sort of sale at a bookstore. Everything you put in your bag is $5, and I just added a bunch of random stuff. I'm not a comic book reader. This has never been out of the package, so if you want it, you can have it. Then I have the Powers series. Not all of the numbers. It's not in order, sorry. But I have like 1 to 13, but a few are missing in the middle, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, something like that. I have no idea what this is about. I think they are superheroes because it's called Powers. Yeah, if you want the first 12 or 13 issues, you can have them. I forgot another section because I have so many piles of books that I don't want. The Winnie Years series by Lauren Miracle. So I don't know if you've heard of them. These were a big favorite of mine when I was little. So the books are 10, 11, 12, 13, and 13 plus 1. And my mom would get me the next book every year on my birthday. So when I was 10, I got 10. When I was 11, I got 11. So on and so forth. It's just about a girl who's 10 and her life in middle school and early high school and what she's doing. Yeah, that's it. I grew out of them. The last book is 14. I don't need it anymore. I have some of the Twice Upon a Time series by Wendy Mass. Wendy Mass was my favorite author when I was a kid. So I have Beauty and the Beast, Rapunzel, Sleeping Beauty. That's not the real titles, but that's the adaptation of the books that they are. Yep, just middle grade versions of those stories, but like quirky 2000s, like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants style. You know what I'm saying? I have 2 more books by Wendy Mass. This is Finally and 13 Gifts. These are 2 of the books from the Willow Falls series. 11 Birthdays is the first one, and that's my favorite, so I'm keeping that. But these 2, I don't really need. I have read Finally. I haven't read 13 Gifts. They're all set in the same universe, this city or town called Willow Falls. So these are both about tween-aged girls and what they're going through. Okay, this video is so long. Those are all the books that I don't want anymore. If you saw something that you liked, all of these will be listed on my Depop in the description, so you can buy it. All of my items come with a free enamel pin because I'm trying to get rid of my pin collection as well, so you get a free pin. Also, if there are any books in this video that you love and you're like begging me to hold on to or read again, just tell me and I'll keep it and I'll see if you're right. So yeah, thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for watching this. There will be a new video every Wednesday, I promise. Goodbye!